Greetings from Colorado. I'm Don Rowley, in case you didn't know. This time around I want to talk about Namba, which is a Japanese principle of moving. Now, in essence, right now there's a lot of talk in Japan and elsewhere about Namba and such like that. And a lot of Japanese would have you think that they all used to walk around looking like a talking heads video up until about the 1800s when everyone stopped doing it, and prior to that none of the Chinese, Korean or Europeans that showed up to Japan ever noticed and wrote it down. Obviously there's problems. You know, just an aside, I gotta wonder in a few decades what David Byrne is going to be like when he gets Alzheimer's. This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful life. In any case, while it might not be true that the Japanese walked to this extreme, it is true that they placed a lot of importance on the shoulders and the hips being on line. And this is the principle of Namba that you really should take note of if it's in your martial art. Now, when walking along, yes, some of us do walk like this, where the shoulders and the hips are disjointed. But some of us do walk around where the hips and shoulders and lines and the hands swing freely. It's okay to let your hands move like this as long as your shoulders are over your hips. So it's from right here, I can kind of walk, I can kind of grab like this, no problem, but if I start to extend that hand out, my hip has to start to follow, and then my leg has to take that step. Oh, and look what happens. Okay? So you'll find that when you're doing this, it's a lot easier when doing something like Ganseki Nage if you keep Namba rather than like this. If you're pulling back rather than this, it's more like this, hips and shoulders. My hips back here, my shoulders still forward. Boom, that's not Namba. This is Namba. This is Namba. It's easier sometimes to feel this when you have a bokken or a sword. Okay, this is Seigan no Kamae. Okay, Seigan no Kamae, hips and shoulders on line. This is Jodan no Kamae, hips and shoulders on line. Some people, for whatever reason, think that Jodan can be like this. But if you get in this position, you'll notice that there's a bit of a twist in your spine. You can't quite get all your energy, all your body moving as one. Now sometimes when cutting through, at a certain point, you'll look like Jodan. But if you watch the photos of master swordsmen in Japan, you'll still know the shoulders and the hips are in line. That's the important thing to keep in mind about Namba. Hips and shoulders on line instead of disjointed. Now, if you want more about the history and the theories and even some exercises to help you gain awareness of Namba, I've written a book, kind of a series of articles in which there's one in it, but it's not as important as seeing this and start looking for it in your class. Besides, I'm sure the exercises in here will be online somewhere in a few weeks from someone claiming that their ancient master gave it to them when they were 6 years old. So start looking for Namba, start trying for it, and be aware of what your body is doing. If your shoulders and your hips are not working in tandem, you're probably going to have problems if you're doing a Japanese martial art. That's all for today. Thank you.